Welcome back, everybody, to the show. I am your host, as always, Jay Villain, aka That Villain J. And of course, with me, as always, is Numbskull, my co-host on the Black Council podcast. Here he is, guys. Number 2 mythic ranked, I believe, is what he's at right now.
I had a couple zeros.
Add a couple zeros to the 2. What are we at? What are we at right now?
I think it was actually 202.
202. Right, okay. All right. Well, I was close. I knew it had 2s in it.
Yeah, there are 2s. I got to like 164 last night, and then, fall a little bit because I haven't played since probably 2 a.m. last night or something like that.
Okay. Well, I mean, I am Platinum 1.
Oh, number 1. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I got out of Platinum. Okay. I got out of Platinum jail. It actually letting me start win games. I was probably for about the first 2 weeks of the season, I was Plat 4, and I don't think I rose higher than 3 pips. I would get my ass kicked.
Was it that one deck that was doing well the other day that we were talking about?
I had 2 that did numbers. I had a my zombie deck first got me out of there. My zombie control, and then the Gruul. Which Gruul modified is doing real well in the meta right now. So,
yeah, it is. Yeah. Without meat hook and yeah, definitely.
A lot of go wide stuff is doing well. I don't think the meta shifted that much right after meat hook left, but I think it started to after a little bit. I wouldn't say that Thursday or even Friday. I'd say like Saturday and Sunday is when we really started to. That's when I left Platinum jail.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's because literally I'd win 2, lose 2, win 2, lose 2. Didn't matter what I did. I took Bang Bus. I took your deck, card for card, and played best of 3. Nope, wasn't happening.
It's tough. It can be tough. I was having a couple days ago. I was having a little bit of a rough time too, and even when I was doing standard, it felt like it was a lot of back and forth also.
So I will say, as a moment, as a public service, of course you probably will as well, Alchemy Q is so much better. Oh my god, the Alchemy Q is so much better than standard Q. I play my standard decks in it. I just don't even really try to even play standard in it anymore. If I'm playing a standard deck, I just take it into Alchemy Q because you're gonna get with some what's that called, the Cavetti Rebels decks, you're gonna get locked out, but it is nowhere near the amount of beatings that you're gonna take just against mono blue or something like that. It's nowhere near that bad. So
yeah, they don't really play mono blue in Alchemy.
Yeah,
it's just a little faster, and things can snowball, and like there's just like too many more options to deal with things.
Yeah. There's a much wider of a meta. You're gonna run into more types of decks for sure. Yeah. Even though standard is opening up.
There are professional players who do what you were talking about, like just playing the standard deck in Alchemy.
Oh yeah.
There are pro players who do that. They say that they have more fun.
Oh yeah. You're gonna get, the thing is, you're gonna get a more variety of decks. You're gonna play against a lot of different other people. So in that regard, so it's just so much more enjoyable. I do go occasionally into the standard queue just to kind of test the waters, and it's always the same thing. It's always the same thing. It's and I can't stay as soon as I see somebody play blue at 2 blue mana and don't make any moves, I'm done. I'm out of there. I don't need to waste my time, man. We already know where this is going. We know what's happening. We're not. We're done.
Yeah.
So let's see here. So what are we doing for today?
Should we thank our patrons first?
Oh, let's thank our patrons first. Why not? We have. I don't know if I should use this guy's name.
Is there some type of alias in there?
It's just man.
Oh, that's Iceman.
Oh, Iceman.
Yeah.
Okay. Iceman came in.
Right?
Yeah. I know Iceman.
Yeah.
Iceman is a new patron. Warminds, Ulfveer, Clever Sounds, Dantac, Blood Chief, and Paradabo. All doing it still.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, guys, and we appreciate it. We are looking for more, guys. Once we get to 10 patrons, we'll open up the Discord. I have it ready to go. I'm ready to give the invites out as soon as we get the 10 people.
Literally in the Discord.
It literally, we're both sitting there in the Discord. It's what we use to talk to each other, and
you guys can be in it too.
You guys can be in it too. All you got to do is sign up as little as 99 cents a month. If that's all you want to give, sure.
That's all you got to give.
That's all you got to give. You want to do 99 cents an episode? Sure. I don't care. That's fine. We want to grow it, and we'd love to have you there. And one of the new benefits we're going to add, aside from early access and the private Discord, and is what we're going to do today, because we were trying to think of some stuff to do today. Nothing much has changed on Arena, so we said, well, we are getting some special guests. Those are coming up. We do have some special guests booked, ready to go for the next couple of ones. Some other streamers, other content creators coming up. But today we said, we were kind of brainstorming, said, what should we do? And we said, well, let's go over deck building. One of the things people liked was seeing more of the game and us playing. That was popular. So we're going to do a full-on deck build from the bottom up today. We're going to go over both of our theories, how we combine them, because we both build pretty similarly. I don't think that we have two various different philosophies of deck building. We're not control players. We play gain and drain. So we tend to kind of have similar philosophies, but different enough where you're going to get some perspective. And we talked about it. We are going to build a deck for the Black Council once a month. And what we'll do is the patrons will vote once a month. That's the deck we're going to see built. So if you want to have your hand in deciding what deck the Black Council builds every month, become a patron. You get your vote. You can suggest it, and maybe we'll select it. Maybe if you just get a good enough idea, we'll just select it. If no one else really has any objections to that in the council, we'll just say, hey, you build that. So and me and Numbskull will probably come to a consensus on one version, but maybe you'll get two. Maybe you'll get a Numbskull version. Maybe you'll get a Villainy version. You
can even force us to play Azorius Control.
Yes, we won't play Simic though. That's not happening. So we already cut you off at the knees there. You're not getting a Simic deck. I put a challenge out to my viewers. If I can hit 10,000 subscribers by December 31st at 11:59 p.m., I'll run a Simic on YouTube. I'll run a Simic deck the next day. That would be 34 subscribers a day, which is unreasonable. And they're nowhere near getting to that amount, because I put it up a day ago and I only got like 15. So they're already way behind the curveball.
Happen to you?
Huh?
I would love for it to happen to you.
I'd love for it to happen too, but the trick is to put up impossible challenges. It's kind of like that my theory is, it's like the go-kart in the arcade. You know, when you're little, they'd have like, if you get 50,000 tickets, you can get a go-kart. You know.
Oh my god, dude! Yeah, what kid ever did that? Or like, how much money did their parents have to give them to get enough tickets? They could have bought a go-kart, probably 2 go-karts.
Exactly. See, now you're getting it. Yeah. So just so I'm being 100% transparent here, it is a trick. Okay, I am tricking you, because I would have to get like 40 subs a day every day until December 31st. So it really is. If
you happen to care that much and you actually got 10,000 subscribers,
I'll do it. I'll do it. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, we lost Numbskull there for a second. It cut off. All right, you're back. Oh, there he is. Here. You're back.
I'm here, I promise.
Okay, yeah, I thought he took off at the idea. I thought just mentioning Simic, he's like, this is too much for me. I can't do it.
I was like, we're talking about Simic too much.
Yeah.
Let's just try again next week.
Let's try, yeah. Just hearing the word was enough to just make me have to run to the toilet.
All right, I'm gonna head out.
Yeah, so, and I also don't want to give people, I want to give them an out. Say, listen, guys, I put a goal. Guys. You said that's all you needed to take to get to Simic. You had to listen. 90% of the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed. That's what my analytics say. I mean, not 90, 60%. 60% aren't subscribed. All you need. Yeah. Listen, 20% of those people with subscribing would put me over. That's all it takes. So,
Fair enough.
you want to see a Simic deck? That's it's right there. It's right there in front of you. Just got to reach out, get your 50,000 tickets, and bring it to the counter. You know,
easy.
Play the Cyclone Machine or Lockbreaker. Those are the best ticket to payout ratio.
Lockbreaker. I don't know if I ever played.
You never played a Lockbreaker?
No. You know what I did whenever I went to an arcade? I found the skee ball thing, and I just lived there.
Oh.
I'm a skee ball guy.
I'm not really a skee ball guy. I love the Cyclone, where you had to hit the light when it hit the bonus ticket, the jackpot ticket, so the light would spin around the machine.
Oh, that's what Cyclone is.
Yeah,
I
do
know that.
Yeah.
I did play that.
I was a master at that, man. Oh
okay,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And if you just keep hitting 10 over and over again, you'll eventually, because like it doesn't matter if you hit it right on the jackpot, it's only going to pay the jackpot out at certain points. But if you just let the jackpot build every time that you play, you could really game that machine for a lot.
That's true.
Yeah, but we're way off track now, so it's turned into arcade.
Moral of the story: get Jay to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, and he'll do Simic.
It's as simple as that. Yeah, I just need 40 subscribers a day every day for the next 70 days. So I don't feel like that's too much to ask. You know, but anyways, let's see, what else are we talking about here? We are talking about deck building.
Yes.
We were talking about deck building. So this is going to be a regular thing we do. We're going to try to do it once a month. And it's going to be kind of a reward if you want to see a specific deck build by me and Numbskull kicked in and played for a little bit. We're going to do it. So I think we're just kind of trying to wing it this time. And I think I'll kick it over probably. We'll just collab on this, and we're going to see what we come up with. How to tune it, our theories, and kind of our ideas, and where we feel, and our concepts of what we want, and how we want to build, and how we like to build. So that's what we're going to do this time. Just basic deck building. Despite the fact that I am in Platinum, I do usually reach Mythic. I just want to point that out, just not very quickly. I get there, okay? So, you know, one of us is the tortoise, one of us is the hare. I know whatchamacallit's there right now. But, however, I do have the caveat. I play a different deck every day. So
it's a little different.
I don't really grind on one deck. As soon as I play something 20 times, I'm bored of it. So that's my feeble excuse. So, you know, forgive me. All right. What do you have to say, Skull?
So I guess I know Jay was talking about how like we approach decks very similarly, and we similar play style. We appreciate the same kind of archetype within the game itself. We favor it more than others with like gain and drain and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But a notable difference between Jay and I is team horizontal versus team vertical.
Oh my goodness, yeah, this is one thing we can't agree on. Yeah.
We will each die on our respective.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that too, because I respect team horizontal. I always put my deck in horizontal once I'm done, so you can pause it and look at it like that. Let's go to hold on. I'm going to cut to the deck building screen here. We have the deck building screen. I am on a blank deck, not even the format chosen. And of course, I like to build vertical, up and down right here. Okay. That's how I do mine. Numbskull prefers horizontal, where he likes to see all the cards laid out. Now, I don't care what the image on the card is. That's meaningless to me for deck building. I need to see all the names of the cards in a row. So we're going to switch back and forth here between. So that is going to be our big thing here. I like to see the cards I'm looking for in a big pile and then line them up. This is how I built in paper. I'd line them up in a long row, or even write them down on a piece of paper in order. Skull said he would lay them out in front of him. Well, how would you do it?
So I have like a photographic memory. So I see the like picture of the card, and then like that's kind of how I know what it does. You know what I mean? And then also when I know you can see the like pictograph of the curve itself. whenever you're doing it. But I kind of like view the curve I lay it out in like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and forth drops.
Well, I mean, that's what this
And-
little thing right here is for. It shows you the curve right there.
Yeah, but then I have to click an extra thing.
No. There's a little graph right here.
Yeah, no. I know there's the graph, but for whatever reason, it still helps me better when I see all of the cards and they make their own graph without seeing the graph. Yeah. I'm very particular.
I know, and and people, that's probably one of the biggest things that people ask. They're like, "Can you do horizontal builds?" I'm like, I literally can't. I also feel like when I'm explaining, it gives you a nice view of the card right in the center of the screen. Like, I'll say, okay, use Fatal Absence, and it pops right up, like, right there. If I'm doing, horizontal, I guess it still does, but even so, I'm trying to show the whole deck. You can't see the deck and the cards at the same time. I don't know. Big disagreement on Team Horizontal. We want to know, what team are you on, Team Horizontal or Team Vertical? We both have our respective ideas of that.
Choose your side in the chat.
Choose your side in chat, in the comments. We want to know. We want to get this thing going. We want to get the big debate.
Settle the debate.
Yeah. Listen, we all agree on a lot of stuff with Magic, but this is probably the biggest deck build. And honestly, this translates to paper. People build horizontally, they build vertically. And that's obviously, they knew that going into it by putting this button in here.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So either way, so we're going to build a deck. What are you feeling today, Numbskull?
Do you want to do, like, I know the YouTube crowd, and we always preach alchemy. Should we do some standard as a treat?
We can do standard as a treat.
All right. Do you want to do like a Jund sacrifice?
Jund sacrifice. I like the flavor of that.
With like Zeatora and
yeah, big throwing. Okay. So that's what we're gonna do. Jund sacrifice. So I got our Jund colors picked out. I should have all the cards pretty much set here. Let me turn down the volume of this.
Sure.
There we go. All right.
And obviously, when you're building a deck, that's when you decide what colors you want to run. One of the first things you can do is you can choose
filter.
You select your colors up there. You say, okay, I know I want Jund. All right, well, let's go. Black, red, green. Do we want artifacts too? Okay, then you click the colorless also.
Yeah.
If necessary. We don't know if we're gonna run artifacts, but just in case.
Just you want it in there just in case. Yeah.
Yeah. And also note, you might be thinking, well, why is it? I know you guys picked those colors. Why is it showing a bunch of white and blue cards right now? Well, those cards have some type of the red, white, and green, or colorless associated in their cost, or their like flavor of the card or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like tied to an ability, like or maybe they flip and it's that given color, so that's why you'll see that. But
yeah,
I don't think we'll really use many of these cards that you see on the screen.
No,
it's fine. But if you were wondering why it looks like that, or if you go to do this and you wonder why it does that, that is why. But yeah, so we know we're doing Jund sacrifice, so we're sticking with like a sacrifice kind of thing. We know we want to run Zeatora, and then something that Jay and I usually do, like when you're using a legendary thing, you typically don't want to run 4. Like maybe you just run a max of 3.
Boom.
And then Jay's missing one, but it's okay.
Oh, I had look how many mythic rares I have versus rares. I need something to do with these mythic rares.
Fair enough. Yeah, go ahead. I mean, it's a nice thing to have. And then while you're there, you see, oh look, there's the Jund Triome. Well, I might as well add 2 or 3 of those because we're gonna need proper mana, and we lost our pathways.
Mm-hmm.
So so that kind of fills that out there. You'll see that the game is doing the swamps, mountains, and forests
filled in automatically.
Kind of as you go. You may end up adjusting those later, and we'll show you how to look at the mana base itself to see if you're covering your bases.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. What do you think? So obviously we know with Zeatora that we just want to throw
big creatures,
some things at people.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Jay, you have any? I know for me, Shakedown Heavy comes to mind.
Shakedown Heavily definitely comes to mind. Also, one of the best things, this is a thing I get in my comments all the time, I don't see that card that you put in. Guys, please click not collected. It means you don't have it.
Oh,
people will fight with me, say that card isn't available in standard. It doesn't exist. Whenever I type it in, it doesn't pop up. Where is it, Jay? Please, guys, Number one thing,
Don't
click
forget to click not collected.
click
Yeah.
not. It doesn't default. It defaults to only collected. So
Yes.
and it'll be like, and then an hour later, I'll see a comment under it saying, "Never mind, I found it." And please click not collected, because you might not have opened it from the pack, and if it's there, you're never see. It's happened to me too. I've been like, man, this guy's telling me Angel of Doom is in here. I've never even heard of that card, and I click it, and it's not there, and I have to click it. So click not collected.
Yeah.
So another thing that I like to start out with personally when I'm building, especially if I'm going a triple color, something like that, is click the gold button to filter, and I can see stuff that is specifically
those colors.
triple colors. It will only ever show you what is in those triple colors to kind of start with, to see what really is locked into that Jund, aka Riveteer's kind of build there. So that's what I'm going to do first. I know you mentioned Shakedown Heavy, but it'll bring up Zeotor's Probing Down. We can see if we want Riveteer's...
definitely want Riveteer's Charm.
You think we want Riveteer's Charm?
Yeah, because you're going to get around shield counters, ward, things like that. You're going to get rid of Titans. I think it's solid. Or Planeswalkers.
Okay. All right. How many?
Yeah. At least 2.
I'll start with 2. You can always add more. Don't overfill your deck right away. I generally do that too. Or
because there's 2 ways. You can either like add 1 or 2 of everything and then see where you want to go up, or you can just say fuck it and do 4 of everything and go down as you progress. There's, you know what I mean? Kind of 2 ways, but sometimes it is easier to just add more than it is to take out.
Then cut. I know it's a harder maneuver to cut. Yeah, it's always harder for me to cut something than it is to add something later. So
it's removal. We don't have to go all in on the removal because it's technically not the point of our deck. It's just like a necessary evil. You know?
And I think it's important
to
also continue.
It's modal. It gives you so many. The charm gives you more than just removal. Too.
Yeah. It's a turn 3 modal card, which is nice. I do like I'm always advocate for Graveyard Hate because the current meta focuses on that a lot. There's a lot of decks that do that, so Graveyard Hate is not bad. Now remember, deals damage equal to the creature's power, and you create treasure. So we kind of already have a theme. We want big power creatures, so I think that you mentioned Shakedown, because that's a cheap big power man right there that helps you. That helps you draw and puts a lot of power down on the board. Shakedown Heavy, I think, is going to be key there.
Yep, I like it.
I'm also thinking, what is that new one that is high power? Silverback.
Oh, the Elder.
No. Silverback Elder. He's too much green. He's too green.
Yeah, guys, when you run these 3-color decks, sometimes having 3 or 4 pips of a given color can be a little demanding. So you can't always, you know what I mean? Like, people say, oh, you should run Invoke in this deck or something like that. That is yes, you can do it, but just know that it's the definition of greedy.
Yeah.
It is the literal definition.
Yeah, because you're going to get stuck with it unless you're running really heavy treasure. I think Riveteer's Requisitioner is not bad because when he dies, he gives you a treasure token. He's blitzing and he's 3, so you can sack him. He's good fodder for 3.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
That's what I like there. I don't think we need Agnes because he is really more based on treasure and haste, and I don't think that's what we're doing.
I'd probably put the Envoy before Agnes.
Really? Zeotor's Envoy?
Zeotor's Envoy. I mean, if you were going to run a 4-drop, because he has the Blitz as well, gets you card advantage. And the cool thing about the Blitz ability when Zeotor is out, that you can let Zeotor's ability resolve before the Blitz.
The Blitz sacrifice, yeah.
But then you still draw the card, which is pretty sweet.
Okay.
I don't know. We have to run. There might be a better 4-drop. I would just say I would run if I'm going to spend 4.
So what I'm going to do as a reminder, this is how I do mine as a reminder. I put 1 in there just to kind of
1 to see.
Yeah,
sure.
And pin it kind of in the top of my head there.
I think you put in a Brutal Cathar by accident.
Why did that happen?
I don't know.
There we go. So I throw 1 in there. Okay. Oops. That's not. I don't want advanced filtering. Okay.
And I think that, everybody always says with Jund you want to run like Titan of Industry. I don't know if you actually run Titan of Industry here. I think you might just stop. You also want to think about your mana curve. So we got to think, you know, if we want to run a card like Titan of Industry, do we want to go up to 6 mana, or do we, you know, or up to 7 mana, or are we going to stop with Viatora? And that's going to be our top end, and that should be killing people when it's out, you know. A lot of the time, I think that's enough when you have Ziatora. I think when you go Ziatora or Titan, it's kind of like a one or the other thing.
Yeah, I don't think that just because a card is good doesn't mean it belongs in every deck. I've always felt that way, and people do that. They'll just be like, "Oh well, these are auto includes," you know. I mean, speaking of auto includes, how do you feel about
Fable?
Fable, yeah. Oh, he knew what it was right away. I don't know. I mean,
I think it's at least 3.
Yeah,
because you can fling the copies of your creatures with Ziatora.
Okay,
as well.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's just too good. It's just too good.
I hate when cards.
I know
are
that
just
it's
too
like
good
we're
too.
going like super meta right now, but it's too good to not put in a sacrifice deck.
Yeah.
Typically, cards that tell you to sacrifice things, you can. Especially with Ziatora, there's a way to make that get you some extra value than you would normally get.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Okay, so we have 41 left. We have 19 cards to fit in, which I mean, really speaking, is probably only about four more cards. Actual choices,
like with more copies. Yeah, I understand. I guess we need to consider like some 5-drops then, which that the Rhino.
I think that's not a bad idea because I feel like we'll have pretty good mana fixed early on. For that.
And then not to mention, that guy, he replaces himself. So like sacking with Ziatora is just phenomenal. Here.
Do you think we want Mr. Ofreo because when he attack double the target, if we double the target's power, we can throw double the power at them?
That's spicy. Until end of turn.
He's a 4-drop, so it's. I mean, he's only a 2/4. But do we want to choose him or Ziatora's Envoy?
Maybe we could. Let's put one of him and then check if there's any other 4-drops. Maybe also, you know. Another thing that doesn't hurt. Vivian's a thing too, but I don't know. Maybe we just stick with Ziatora at 6.
I think she's got to be our 6th spot. I don't think we need to crowd our 6th spot.
Yeah, I think you're right too. So this is something else we consider when we do this, guys. Is like, you know, you have to think about when you think about adding a card. You want to think about what is already in this slot, and would I rather draw if I'm going to draw a 6-drop? Would I rather draw Ziatora or would I rather draw Vivian? Okay, we want to undoubtedly draw Ziatora here, so we probably don't want Vivian in the deck.
Yeah,
because of that, because they're the same mana value. If Vivian was a 5-drop, I'd say hey, let's throw Vivian in there. You know. But as a 6-drop at the same place as Ziatora at being so high, we're just going to reserve that for Ziatora.
Yeah, and what I always say is it's kind of a gut feeling. If you start drawing a card and you're not happy to see it, that card shouldn't be in your deck. So you got to think, if I drew off the top, would I be happy to see it? And I got to be honest, if I drew Vivian on turn 6 or turn 7, I don't know if I'd be like, all right.
You know, you might be happy to see her, but you could I would say 9 times out of 10 you're gonna make the argument that you would be happier to see Ziatora.
Yeah.
In this build.
Yeah.
In this particular build. Not in general, in this build. There's a deck where Vivian works. You know what I mean? Don't think we're saying Vivian's not a good card, because Vivian's a good planeswalker. She shits out a 4/4 for a -1 loyalty. That's pretty good. She's like a built-in pyre of heroes. That's good, but it's just not what we're doing here. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, we have to run the Phyrexian OC.
Do you want to run Sheoldred? I was thinking about Sheoldred's Restoration instead. No, do you want to run a res card so that anything we sacrifice we can bring back?
We can run a res card, yes. I would say that we do run at least 2 Sheoldreds.
Okay.
That's probably better than Ziatora's Envoy at this point.
You think so for a 4-drop? Yeah.
Yeah. And we could maybe even have a way where I don't think the charm. We could have a way where we're drawing cards too, and maybe.
We have Riveteers that lets you draw.
Yeah, we do.
And we have Shakedown that lets you draw.
Shakedown's good too. Okay, yeah, that's solid.
And Mirror
and
lets you draw.
Fable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's solid.
So, all right, and I'm thinking about return.
That's the reanimator spell. Do you want shoulder herself?
Well, there's different reanimations we can go into here.
Yeah, like graveyard shift.
I'm thinking if we look at some, maybe look at some.
Oh, we could just do, what is it? Diagraph rebirth? Yeah.
We could do Diagraph Rebirth, or we could do Urborg Restoration.
Urborg goes back to your hand. Urborg's not bad. It's not bad. I think I like Diagraph better because since we're creature heavy, things are going to be dying, and we could get that as like a reduced cost.
It's a 5. We've got 4 in the 5 spot. Do maybe want to go down on 3 and go 2 on that?
Yeah, that sounds good. Go down 1 War Chief and put 2 Diagraphs, and then that has flashback also. So, you know what I mean.
Okay, Sheoldred's Restoration. We're going to put actual Sheoldred in. Oddly enough, Sheol is the name of hell in Hebrew. I don't know if people picked up on that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Sheol. If you look in the Old Testament in Hebrews, Sheol is what they call hell.
Spelled that way?
Yeah, Sheol. Yeah. Wow. So they just added the word dread. It kind of just means hell dread.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, the Old Testament word for abode of the dead is Sheol. From a word meaning hollow. So there's your Dark Souls reference for you.
Okay. There's a lot of things in play with that name.
Yeah.
That we need to think about.
Don't you go hollow on me. I'm a Dark Souls guy.
Don't you go hollow on me, girl.
Okay, so I know I just always think of it that it's
good.
in Hebrew it's that.
Right. Maybe more 3-drops now. I mean,
well,
we can.
Yeah.
Or no, I'm sorry, more 4-drops. My apologies.
You want to bring that other Rhino back? Well, 4 drops. Okay. We have Sheol and we have Mr. Afreo.
Yeah. I just want to have, I guess, more 4. Well, yeah.
Well, we can filter
5,
it.
Perhaps.
Let's filter it.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's filter, and we can just do. Let's see what we got. Enrica's not a terrible option, but it's a little
body launderer.
Particular. Yeah, body launderer's not bad. We could even put it planes. We could even run Sorin or something like that too. Okay. Actually, blood. Yeah, Henrika sounds nice. Blood Vial's not bad. What about like a red card? Hidetsugu's interesting.
That might not be bad because it's similar. It's similar to what Ziatora does.
So top card of your library, you may play the card this turn when you're examining the card this way. So equal to that exalt mana value to any target. Yeah. It's just, I think that you hardly ever get to play the card because of the mana cost on that ability.
True.
It's a little unfortunate. Legendary dragons don't hurt either, like Atsushi.
Atsushi's not a bad idea, yeah.
There's a death trigger there, and we can get more treasures.
I actually like that because he's also going to give us cards off the top or a death trigger treasure.
Yeah. I think that's good. And then as a trampler, I think that's solid. We can run a couple of him. And then just having flyers, I think is good right now too, because other people are they're running like Ao and Junji also, so like you kind of want to have some flyers yourself, you know. Let's see what else we have going on here. I think that one's good. Maybe like 1 or 2 more 4-drops.
Primeval Warden, Helena and Alana.
Namata's not terrible.
Namata? For this deck?
Yeah. It's not terrible, but it's technically not really what we're going for.
No, I mean, it's a good card. I just don't think we're getting much value. Might get security rocks.
Ooh, sure. Let's throw one of him in there.
I mean, he's a 5-sack, and with Mirror Breaker and Riveteers, we might be able to get him out.
Cast him for 2 mana.
Yeah.
I like that.
Put 2 of them in there. I feel like that's good. We filled up the 4 slot. We don't have any 1s, and we're also missing actual removal and protection cards.
Okay, so yeah, let's do some 1s. Get like a couple more creatures in there. Do like we'd probably maybe just run like Infernal Grasp, or we could do like
Do you think we need cut down if we want to go early game?
yeah, two cut downs seem good. And then Infernals I think are solid. I'll also I was gonna say Evolve Sleeper, but maybe not. It is nice for the early game though.
Yeah, we could do Treasure.
We could do Evolves. Okay, yeah. That's a good idea. Let's do Treasure Hound. Because he wants to be sacrificed anyway, so it kind of fits in with what we're doing. Yeah, that's solid, man. I like that. So there's a little ramp for us early. So then okay, and then maybe like 1 or 2 Tameo.
I thought you were saying the actual Planeswalker, and I was like, hey, we gotta.
No.
I gotta hang up, man. I got something to do.
All right, so the Tameos, and then I guess a couple more 2-drops, maybe like Infernal Grasp.
So why don't we go with Grasp?
Nice. Now we're at 60, yeah?
Yeah. That's what it looks like. I know you're here, so I can put it so your brain can understand.
So this is also something that we consider when we build a deck. Now is where you can click on your deck icon. The little picture of Zeatora there on like the deck box, and you look at where it says your average mana cost, and this is where you figure out that, oh shit, we're over 3 average mana cost. We might need an extra land.
Mm-hmm. And
might want to do 25.
Also, that's for people who don't know. That's what people are referring to when they say CMC. That stands for converted mana cost.
Yeah, converted mana cost is what the card itself costs, and then the average mana cost, AMC, is where you see where it says average.
Yeah.
So you have AMC and CMC. Your AMC is where you look at for how many lands you think you're going to need. If you're over 3, you probably are going to have to go over that 60-40 ratio that we typically, that is like your set that Arena defaults to. You probably got to at least bump it up by 1, possibly 2 lands. I think in this deck we can get away with less than 1.
I think if we do 1
with just 1.
Yeah. Well, you know me, I'm the Flood Lord, so I'll probably flood.
We're on Jay's account right now.
We are on my account, so it knows that to give me extra mana whenever I need cards. I'll have a 20% chance of drawing a mana and hit 3 in a row. So then I go buy scratch off tickets. It's also important to look at the ratio of cards to land, creatures to land to everything else. And you generally want to do 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. That's not a hard and fast rule, but that's generally what a balanced deck looks like for the most part. Maybe 22 creatures, 24 lands, and instant sorceries. Again, this is a rule of thumb, meaning a measurement kind of issue. If you're at 35 creatures, then probably something is a little off.
Unless you're just a straight aggro, nothing else deck, like you're running Thalia and things like that, and you don't want non-creature spells.
Yeah. So, but for the most part, a fairly balanced deck is going to kind of stick to that thirds ratio in a certain amount of fluctuations.
And even those Thalia decks still run non-creatures sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
They may run protection, they may just run removal. They may legit have 30 creatures, but there might be 5 or 6 that are, other spells. And then another thing to consider is, okay, we're a creature-heavy deck because we want to sacrifice stuff. So what are we looking at with our cards that are non-creatures? What do those do for us to further what we're trying to do? And something that helps out with that is, okay, well, we have 13 that are non-creatures, but if we go back to the deck, we see that 3 of those minimum are fables, which that's going to make a creature as soon as it comes out, and then it's going to make more creatures every turn that you leave it out after it flips. So yes, it's the non-creature, but that furthers the advancement of the other creatures that we have, especially considering that we're running a lot of non-legendary, so we have a ton of juicy targets here for Fable. Yeah, definitely. And we want to remember too, what is the idea behind our deck? Obviously we went into this thinking that this is a Zeatora. So my idea
is always when building a deck, I want to do one thing great and one thing good. I feel like you should always have a backup plan when it comes to deck building.
Sounds nice.
And so even if we don't get the Zeatora, because that's a clutch card, maybe they're all on the bottom, maybe every single one of them is on the bottom here, and we're never going to get them. Can we still go over the top with damage? Do we still have enough to kind of muscle our way? Yeah, we kind of have a stompy deck here. We can fly over, we can trample over, we've got big boys, creatures. Yeah. You know, we still have an option to kind of get through damage, because if your card is entirely dependent on one linchpin, it's oftentimes you're not going to get that linchpin, because it's only ever going to work if you pull that one card. If you're relying on it, even if you put 4 out of 60, you know, that's a big.
It's still not good odds.
1 out of 15 chance, and you know, you got to figure, if I draw 15 cards, I'm going to get one of them. Maybe 15 cards in you'll get, but that's the full hand in 7 rounds. You still might not get the card.
It's less than 7%.
Yeah,
it's less than a 7% chance.
So I don't ever like to build under, I have to have this card, period.
Yeah.
No exceptions. I have to get it, otherwise my deck's going to be a failure. There should always be some other kind of backup plan.
Yeah, because I mean, well, let's just look at it at face value. Shoulder wins games just by being on the board without actually doing anything.
Yeah, applying pressure. Yeah.
So Shoulder is constant pressure that demands removal, this and that. So by default, that's solid. And then I think the only thing that I think we might have overlooked possibly is the underdog. I don't know, but I don't know if we like the requisition. Is that requisitioner? It says.
I'd rather have requisitioner because he's gonna ramp for us. I know he can't play from the graveyard, but we're already hitting graveyard with Diregraph.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's solid. I guess there's kind of like 2 ways to go about it.
We could always split the difference too, and this is where the sideboard comes in. So
yeah, that's where the sideboards definitely become a thing for us.
So we can always say, hey, we want underdog right over here. Whoops. I'm sorry, I didn't put it in the sideboard. I forgot I had to do it this way on the horrible view.
And you have one in the deck still too, don't forget.
Oh my god. I forgot I had to click this negative button instead of just clicking to remove it like a normal. See, when I want to remove something or add something, I just click it and it goes away. Boom.
Oh, I don't like that.
I don't need to click it and then click it again for negative minus. All right, no, all right. We're getting off track here. We're getting off track.
But yeah, so this is like, especially when you're making a best of 1 deck, your sideboard can just be like your idea / maybe pile.
Oh yeah.
And it can be just different things that you try when you're playing the deck. So if you think the requisitioner is not working, okay, maybe you bring in a couple underdogs. Oh my god, I hated the underdogs. We're gonna go back to the requisitioner and we're just gonna take our tokens. And be happy with it, you know.
Yeah.
And this is where you guys, if anybody wants to try this deck, which we can probably make a list for the deck to give you guys too.
Of course.
You know, you guys can try this deck. You can try this sideboard, and you can tell us if you like certain cards better. You know. But yeah, we like the blitz abilities here. When we have Zeatora out, we like sacrificing things. We don't really care if they die. We kind of want them to die because most of the time we're going to benefit from it.
Yeah.
So it is helpful. Yeah, I think for sideboard stuff, that's solid there. I don't know if there's anything else we would want to put as a sideboard thing. Well, that looks nice.
Terra Sunder's not a bad card to keep, to always kind of keep as an idea.
Yeah, I mean that'll hit your opponent's fables, so that's kind of nice there. Mm-hmm. And instant speed as well. Yeah, that's solid. We can do like I know a lot of people, and then another reanimation thing we could do is like Cruelty of Gix. So we could like put a couple, like maybe a Gix or 2 in the sideboard. That might be fun. You know. And then you can also look at when you're doing sideboard stuff is like, I have certain amounts of certain cards in here, and I don't know if I should be running more, but like, you know, we have 2 Tameo in here. Maybe we want another Tameo because we're going up against a lot of removal heavy stuff, you know, things like that. Maybe we want, I'm not even sure. Maybe we want Planeswalkers because we want to have that other dimension. You know what I mean? We want to have that wall, that 4th wall, if you will. So that's an idea, you know. Also, oh, we're running out of life too quickly. We need March of Wretched Sorrow in here. You know, things like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to consider. And I think and that's what I do even with my best of one decks, where I'm mostly talking about, hey, this is for best of one. I always put a sideboard in one or two cards or ideas just so you have them, because even when I list it on AetherHub, they're optional to slide in and out, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, and this, you know, and look, there's Obnixilis. That's also a really good sacrifice thing too. So if I were making a best of 3 sideboard, Obnixilis would be in my best of 3.
For sure.
That would be an option. You know, Sorin might go in there too. You know, you have all kinds of stuff you can throw in there. So yeah, that's where we are. And I guess we're kind of at a point now where we can take a look at the mana base itself.
Yes, the most fun and interesting part of any deck, the mana.
The mana. And you know, we have our proving grounds. We have, I guess we didn't put any dual lands, so we have to do that. We have to do our legendary lands, and you know, all.
Yeah. So I like to. These are okay. Personally, if I'm trying to go fast, I don't like to overload on these. If I'm a little bit slower, I don't mind, because they do slow you down. They are a tapped early play.
And what's nice about these, where maybe we just throw like 2 of them in there. For 2 of the color combinations that go within Jund, we have the pain lands for those. We have the forest,
Carplusian,
and we have springs. So, yeah.
Do you want to do 3 Carplusians or 4?
Let's do 3 of each and then see where our basics are at. We'll do 3 Carplusian and then 3 Sulphurous Springs. And then probably like 2 Ridges.
Wait.
Haunted Ridge.
Haunted Mire?
Oh,
Haunted Ridge.
Yeah.
2 Haunted Ridges, you think?
Yeah, 2 Haunted Ridges, yeah, since they're slower.
Oh, yeah.
And then what's the other one? It's Rockfall Vale, I think, for the other dual land.
Yes.
Yeah, 2 of those. And then we do our legendaries. So we know the Jund colors: Takanuma, Shokunzan, Boseiju. You know. Run more than one of these at your own risk. I'll say it like that.
Yes. Unless you really want to commit to kind of, especially in triple color, it's very dangerous.
Yeah. The last thing you want, and especially, and Jay and I have both screwed this up. Last thing you want is you have 2 of them, and then you draw an extra, and you play it just because you're on like autopilot, and you already have one out, and then boom, you just lost a land.
And you misplay.
And you didn't even tap the one that you needed.
I know. I've done it. We've all done it. Yeah.
And something else, you know, land destruction isn't as big of a thing, but something that I just like to do whenever I run like a 2 or 3 color deck, well, especially 3 color, I like to make sure I have at least 1 of each basic, and you see that we do have that here.
Yeah, we're missing. We do have 1 of each.
So then that kind of leaves you room to be more well-rounded with everything else, and just if you let's see, someone has Field of Ruin, someone bouchers your land, just, you know, whatever.
You can always dig one up.
You have to go find a land. Yeah, you can go get what you need, and you can go get the color that you need too.
Yeah.
So sometimes people might actually help you out and let you fetch what you need. So you might as well be able to take advantage of that and punish them for it.
Yeah. So you want at least 1 of basic of each color is what we're saying. And it's also, you can look here. This is very handy right here. This tells you the mana cost, how much mana cost you have of each color in your deck right here.
I think we're very balanced.
This is like ridiculously balanced. There's only a variance of 4 between the highest and lowest, which is not very much, and the middle one comes right in the middle. So we really don't need to overload the line on anything. The only thing that I might adjust with that is bring down the amount of forests and up the amount of mountain by 1, like that.
I think what we would do is, I think that's fine, but I think we still keep the 3 forests because we need to add that extra land anyway.
Okay.
So we still keep that 3.
So we're going to do 61.
Yeah, well, we got to take out a spell.
Okay.
Gotta take out 1 spell. So I don't know. Maybe we take out like a shakedown or something because we have 4.
Shakedown. We're really high on 3s and 4s. Yeah, 3s we are really high on 3s.
Yeah.
So let's take out a shakedown.
Probably be okay. Yeah, there we go.
Boom.
So there we go.
That's how we would build a deck. Oh, also, most importantly, make sure that you're sleeved up correctly. It makes the deck run better. This is a scientific proof.
Appropriate sleeving.
Yeah, if you don't sleeve right, I'm gonna find you. All right, so let's see. You're gonna choose a nice Riveteer sleeve. I think I'm in the mood for the more subdued Riveteer sleeve.
Sounds good.
Okay, unless we have a Rhinoceros Riveteer sleeve. Do I have one with a Rhinoceros? No, I have one with an elephant on it. No, I think that's the best sleeve. Okay.
I feel like I haven't seen an elephant creature in a while in Magic.
Yeah, well, there used to be Loxodons, which were really cool, but they're only in Ravnica. There used to be a lot of those.
Man, we need a Ravnica set soon.
I know. I'd like to go back. They're gonna do.
I need some extort.
Yeah, they're making Surveil Evergreen. That's gonna be a mechanic permanently. By the way, they're changing it. They're errataing all the cards that have basically the Surveil. Look at the top card. You can put in your hand or put in your graveyard. They're making them all. I think Consider is basically a Surveil card.
Pretty much, yeah.
So they're changing that. And of course, I think Smoky Cat is fine, but you could do Elemental. That could help.
Ooh, that's pretty sweet. Yeah, I like that.
Okay, these are all critical steps that I'm totally being serious about doing. The important thing, spend any amount of money that you want on cosmetics. That's the important thing. Cards are meaningless. Make sure your deck cosmetics are on tight, because that's only the thing that matters.
Make it look beautiful.
Exactly. All right, and of course we can look at it in an alternate view.
There we go. That's how I like to look at it.
Boom. That's how it turned out.
And yeah, so feel free to take your screenshot, and then yeah, these are the cards that we put together today, and we could probably even throw more cards in the sideboard there. But yeah, we have options. Sideboard cards, maybe you throw in like Burn Down the House too, just like a board wipe card, and then there's other stuff too. Burn Down the House is solid. Like we said, maybe add another. Do you put another Tameo in there? I don't even remember. But,
yeah, it's in the sideboard.
Okay, yeah, we threw in another Tameo in there. Maybe you throw in what's the
Infernal, maybe.
Yeah, maybe another Infernal. You could do like maybe even one more Diregraph if a lot of your stuff's dying, and another Cut Down.
Yeah.
Things like that.
And it's important to remember, I don't know about you, Num, but I rarely hit it out of the park the first run around. Rarely.
Yeah.
I have. I'm not going to say I haven't. Not going to say it's impossible, but it's real rare that especially on a triple color, it's real rare that monocolor. Yeah, I can make a mono red, and usually it'll work great. Even that needs some tweaking. But guys, you're gonna lose games right out the gate with decks. You will learn more from your losses than you will from your victories.
Oh, absolutely. Well, even if you do win your first one, you still might not think that a card was good.
Mm-hmm.
You still might think it could be better. Just because you won doesn't mean your deck's perfect.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Consider that. It's not the be all end all because you won your first 5 with it. You're gonna run into a wall eventually, and you're gonna want to change something. It's part of it. It might not happen on the first day. It might take a week for you to decide, okay, I think I need to switch this because it's just not working the way I thought it would, or the meta's shifting a little bit. I need this instead now. I need more protection. I need more creatures. I need I need that Burn Down the House. I'm just seeing Super Friends and Planeswalkers everywhere, and I don't have a way to deal with them otherwise.
Yeah,
just little things like that. So you'll have your ways. The big thing is to adapt, except that although you have a good version of your deck, it looks pretty, you did everything right, just be prepared to adapt.
Oh yeah,
that's a big part of the game. And it's it's oftentimes those who adapt the best do the best. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, for sure. this is an evolving game, guys. I've had decks that have been bangers one week and can't get a win the next. So don't feel bad about that. You've always got to kind of adapt and evolve, which is what's fun about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it forces you to think about it. It forces you to be a better player. It forces you to like examine how you're going about it. Do you know what I mean? And how you think about the game and how you reflect on your gameplay, what you think works and doesn't work. And don't be scared to reflect on that. Just, you know, maybe I like to always think about like, could I have done anything better? I personally go back and watch my VODs on stream to see if I screwed up, to see if I could have played better, and to try to learn. And think of it as like you're a football or basketball player and you're watching film. That's me watching film. I try to watch my VODs every day. It's another reason I enjoy streaming, is because I always have a recording of what I did, so I can see where I messed up. Maybe you guys can't all watch film, but you may have a play that stuck out to you, or you have something that stuck out to you about a card just not working in general. Don't be scared to adapt, and don't be scared to try other things. You know, there's tons of cards. And there's infinite combinations of things you can try. So don't be scared to do it.
Yeah, that's what's great about this game. Personally, I've never made a mistake ever, so I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, you could also just try being perfect like Jay.
Yeah,
and
play everything perfectly every time, like a machine.
Easy.
That's I get comments in my channel. They'll be like, Jay, on game 5, on turn 7, you misplayed one. You could have played your mana more optimally. I'm like, yeah, probably, man. I'm not a robot. I don't know what to tell you. You know, I'm not gonna hit it perfect all the time. And that's okay. You know, you learn from it.
Yeah, and don't be scared to make mistakes. Don't play so sheepishly and so timid that, you know, you're screwing up because you're scared to make a mistake. I always tell people, they say, I need tips for getting better, and I say fuck up a lot.
Oh yeah.
And then learn as much as you can from it and try to avoid making the same mistake twice.
Oh yeah.
And people ask, like, and I'm not saying that this about myself. This is a question word for it was asked. How did you get so good at Magic? I don't think I'm that great. I think I'm decent. I don't think I'm that great. There's a lot of people who are better than me. Let's get that out of the way. But they said, how did you get so good at Magic? And I said, I fucked up a lot. Yeah. And I think that's a good way to get good at anything, especially even life. Like, just learn your lessons, man, and try not to, you know, screw up the same thing twice.
Absolutely.
And take responsibility for what you could have done better, and then try to apply it next time. And think about, you know what I mean, let that sit with you. But then the next time it arises, you know that you can be better.
Oh yeah, and take away. I've talked about on my channel, I've had beautiful losses, and I'm never mad at those. I've been like, wow, that guy beat the fuck out of me, man. At the last moment, his deck was perfect. He played perfect, and I could never get a handle. I mean, or sometimes it'll be a build I've never even seen before. I'm like, whoa, what the hell happened?
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Oh, absolutely.
And I learned from you. Got to appreciate it. And I've always said, listen, man, if somebody beats me with a beautifully crafted deck, first thing I want to do is be like, okay, how did he do it? Let me take that lesson to heart. Let me look at that. Let me break down. Let me see that card. I've never even played that card before. I was counting that card out. You know, obviously, I'm more mad when I just get mono blued to death. That's not fun, but yeah, take a beautiful loss, you know, learn something. Like I said, you'll learn more about the losses. You'll learn more about your deck from the losses than you will from the victories, because you can win in 5 turns just from the dude having a bad hand. You go, oh, okay, my deck's really winning a lot. But those real hard struggle games where you just almost have what it takes and the other guy outmuscles you, you're gonna say, man, I needed more power here. I needed more card draw in the late game. You know, I was, you know, there's a lot you're going to learn from your losses, so don't feel bad about them.
Yeah, don't feel bad about them, and then also know that, like, when Jay talked about beautiful losses, also remember that if it was a beautiful loss, that there was probably something good that you did during that game, and which means there's a takeaway from it for something that you did well or the deck is doing well. So don't be scared to. I want to say, like, celebrate your wins. There are wins within losses, if you will, where things you did well, you know what I mean? And then there are opportunities where things you didn't do as well, where you could do better.
Yeah, for sure.
little coaching from your counsel here.
Well, that's what we were set out to do. We said we want to teach you how to build, and we want to teach you how to play.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And and this is how we do it. There's might be somebody who tells you that everything that we just said is incorrect.
And that's true too. Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Everybody can approach this differently. You guys can think we're idiots.
It's important to remember, this is not the right way. This is our way.
Yeah. Yeah. And, but that's what it comes down to. It's also play style. You may agree with us because you have a similar play style.
Mm-hmm.
You may disagree with us because you have a vastly different play style. You may disagree with us because you know more, or maybe because you know less, or whatever. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different reasons for why someone may say something is incorrect or correct, and it's a very subjective term for what's incorrect and correct.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's I don't know how many absolutes there are in Magic. I feel like the only absolutes in Magic is you have 0 life, you have 20 life, this card's banned, this card's not banned.
Yeah.
And that's kind of about it.
Yeah. That's
everything else is kind of up in the air, and
everything is up for grabs in Magic. The cards change the nature of the game. That's the fun thing about them.
People ask me, well, what, can you explain Magic to me? Like, what's it like? What's different from, I know you said it's like chess, but like how? And I'm like, okay, well, think about chess, but like you also have things that say that you can change this rule.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't draw 2 cards, or I don't draw 1 card this turn. I actually draw 2 this turn. Or, oh, you drew a card, I get to draw a card.
Yeah.
Or I sacrifice a creature. Oh, now you got to sacrifice. Just little things like that.
Of course.
You have things that bend the rules, that make the rules not what they are, but
exactly.
there are still a very explicit set of rules.
Mm-hmm.
But then there are cards that say that you can change them.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people appreciate about Magic, is that you feel like you're you're a planeswalker, as they say, and you get to like set the tone.
Yeah.
And nothing that I've ever played allows me to set the tone for something and to like play my own version of the game quite like Magic does.
Exactly. It's very, very versatile. There's very few games out there that say, okay, now you can completely change the entire nature of the game. Oh, they don't need to get to 0 life anymore. They only need to get to 10 poison counters. Well, that just completely modify how the whole game works. Exactly. Nobody can play instants or sorceries anymore, or something like that. Like Lier says, no spells can be countered anymore. Well, that's countered. It just modified the entire game. So
or cards to say that you can't lose. That's a really crazy concept.
That's a crazy concept.
And they're in every format.
There's a card that says you take another turn, which no matter how many times they print it is always broken. I don't know why they keep trying, but it's like attacking Russia in the winter. It's never going to work. Never gonna work. It's every time they've ever printed another turn after this one. I think Alchemist Gambit's the only one that's still in the game, and the only reason it has a horrible caveat on it.
Alchemist Gambit, you could lose.
Yeah, if you take another turn and you can lose after this one, that can go real bad because you can miscalculate. You can say, "Oh, well, I have enough to do lethal right now," and the guy plays it. You go in, and the guy says, "I instantly gain 3 life," and then what? Now you lost the game. All he has to do is sit there because he instantly gained 3 life. You thought you had the clutch win with the play with fire. Now he's at 1. He just has to literally pass the turn, and he lost.
Such is the nature of red.
Yeah, so it's but anytime they ever print one that just says take another turn with no consequences, it always is banned because they're broken. Anyways, that was my little rant about blue. Goddamn blue.
Power 9.
Power 9. Yeah, absolutely. The only good card in the Power 9 card is the Time Walk.
Time Twister,
whatever it's called.
No. Time Twister is another one where you shuffle your hand and graveyard into your library and draw 7 cards.
Oh yeah.
Someone actually killed me with it when they had Shoulder It Out.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
I
It's a
drew
shoulder
7
counter.
cards and lost 14 life.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's actually kind of legit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. And you're wondering, are we going to see a game with this deck? Maybe we'll make it for patrons only, huh? How about that?
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
We'll do some gameplay for the patrons.
Yeah.
That's fun. We'll give them a little treat.
Yeah.
I like that. So, yeah, anybody who becomes a patron, you'll have access to the gameplay of this deck.
Absolutely.
And at the very least, if you want to see gameplay, you can certainly try this yourself. You'll have a list. If you're not a patron, yeah, try out the list. See what you think.
For sure. Anything else? Numbskull?
Man, I think we had a good time making this deck, and I hope that we were able to give people some insight into how we go about the process and into like our thought process itself.
Yes.
I'm someone who likes to, like, when I explain stuff and when I do things on my stream, or just as a creator in general, I like to, especially as it pertains to Magic, because of how much thinking is involved, I like to, if I can, let you know what I'm thinking as much as possible, if I can remember to do so.
Absolutely.
I like to explain why I think this way, why I think this is better, why I'd rather do this, why I'd rather do that, why I put this here, why I played this turn instead of whatever. I like to explain my thought process. It also opens it up for maybe when I hear it out loud, maybe I realize that maybe that wasn't a good idea, or maybe, oh, that was a great idea. That sounds a lot better now that I say it out loud. Just, little things like that. So
absolutely.
I hope that we're able to kind of, give you some insight into how we approach it, not only as players, but as creators, because Jay and I are tasked with having to make new decks to be interesting, to be entertaining. You know what I mean? I shouldn't say tasked. We still enjoy it, but it's something that as a creator that you have to do.
Oh yeah.
You have to be, and you have to be able to get. I mean, if that's your thing, if it's part of your thing, like Jay's thing is making new decks. My thing is, making the deck, but like really running with it once you find out that it works. But we each have to make the deck. That's how we, get our content. You know what I mean? So we have that task in front of us. We have to really have a methodical process for this, and you know what I mean. We have to. The deck has to be good. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It has to win.
I can't put up a video of me just losing 6 times in a row and being like, well, that was garbage. All right, everybody, thank you for joining me. I gotta get it tomorrow. Yeah, I gotta get at least above. I gotta get at least above like 50% is usually my threshold. Yeah. Especially if I'm doing something unique, I'll leave a 50%er in there, just saying like, I don't think it performed that well for me, but I think it has more potential and can be built off of, and it's a unique build. But I've never just been like, wow, this deck is awful. Okay, bye.
Here's the video.
Yeah. It's bad. Don't play this. Goodbye.
Don't play this. Please like and subscribe.
Yeah. For my see more of my garbage decks. Do you like more? Ring the bell, and you'll always see fucking absolute failures that I've built. Yeah. I don't really go for that. It's not a good plan.
Yeah. So Jay and I have a process, and everybody's process is probably different. You see that we have somewhat of a similar process in how we approach it, but the biggest difference you guys saw is vertical and horizontal.
That's our biggest disagreement.
Yeah, and then it just like other than that, I feel like it just comes down to like personal choices for what we would like. Jay likes the Requisitioner. I like the Underdog, but the Requisitioner, I still see why it's good, and
I know why the Underdog's good too. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, so we just kind of have like things that we think might be better than others in a given situation, and that's where we say there's not really a right and wrong to it, So just don't think that the cards that we put in this deck are the only way to make Ziatora's sacrifice decks work well.
Oh, of course.
Probably much other ways to do it. We may have even missed stuff. We were only gonna do this for you guys for about an hour, so we didn't have like all day
to go over a million different types of
go
builds.
in on this, you know, and like look at every single card. Like we said, we just kind of winged it for you guys, but we wanted to make sure you knew how we go about this process.
For sure. And we're going to leave it there, guys. We had a fun time. I had a fun time. I'm happy. Again, if you want to see some gameplay, we'll put some gameplay up for patrons to see how it ran and maybe how we modified it later going forward. But I think it's a pretty solid deck. I think that it's damn fine.
I think it's smooth.
Yeah.
I definitely had a good time. Let us know if there were cards that you guys want to see in this build, or if you tried this, let us know other cards that you thought were working well. If you kind of made your own version, or if you switched up some things. Let us know how you approach deck building too. There may be something where everyone in the community could learn from, something that you shared that you might think that everybody does, but maybe you're the only person who does it. You know what I mean? Are you team horizontal? Are you team vertical? You know what I mean? What do you
Definitely,
think
we need to know who's. I'm gonna put up a poll.
A poll?
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
And again, guys, if
your community prefers vertical,
I do attract the verticals. I do get some horizontal guys, but I really have attracted a lot of vertical players, just because I default to vertical. So.
And you know what's funny is when I first got an arena, I didn't know that you could switch it, and I think the default was horizontal. So
really,
I did start on vertical, yes, and then I realized you could switch it one day, and my mouth dropped.
Oh my goodness!
Because of like just how
everything changed.
Yeah, it felt like I was like, I went from like, you know, like being like nearsighted to like perfect vision.
You were blind, but now you see him.
But now I see.
You once were lost, but
I once was. I was found that day. The game graced me amazingly.
Amazingly, yeah.
It with was horizontal.
Oh my goodness.
So, yes, that was that was a hell of a thing for me. But I did used to build on vertical. I will say that. But I have learned throughout the years, or the year and a half, not even, that I much prefer horizontal.
Yeah, I can understand that.
But yeah, so we thank you guys all for being here. Thank you guys so much. Hit the like and subscribe. Hit your notifications on for Jay's YouTube channel. Get him to 10,000 so you can force him to play Simic. And then hit up the Patreon. Less than $1 per month, if you want, if you would be so kind. And then we can get you in the Discord. You can see this gameplay for the deck that we just built. And then yeah, otherwise, I think that's about it.
We're gonna call this session of the council to close.
Take care, guys.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you next time. And don't forget, once a month we're gonna do this. If you want to see your deck up here or get an archetype that we're gonna do, come on and join the council. Goodbye, everybody.
Take care.